Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Monday. This is Devils After Dark, coming to you live from American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, across the street from Prudential Center, next to Championship Plaza. Stream it live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live on the Let's Go Devils Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Scotty, a SiriusXM Liquid Metal from Beverly Hills, California. Scotty, Devils losing 5-3 to the BJs after having a 2-0 lead. Lots to go over because this game had a lot of stuff that went on. There's a lot to talk about.
There's definitely a lot of stuff that happened in this game tonight. But, yeah, I know Sam Wu's a little worked up. I think a lot of Devils fans out there are worked up as well. So we'll talk about it. We'll go through it all here on Devils After Dark. So hello to everyone on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and X out there. Go ahead. Get your complaints in now. We'll touch on them all throughout the course of the night. Where's the old Chris lad? Insane Pollock, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you. The South Fork Yeti, Supernova, Dubs, Wimpy. Who else we got over? Oh, Lawrence Ekman Eck. I'm gonna go with that. Steven Angle. Team can't hold. Mark Schwab. No, we're not mediocre. Come on, guys. Come on. This is one game. This is not 10 in a row. We've got a lot of good things going for us, but obviously tonight did not go the way we wanted to. It started off pretty well. With a nice, little hat tip to Mr. Brendan Dillon for his 1,000th game. Dillon, you son of a bitch. The captain has been on a heater. He's got like 6 goals in his last 6 games, 11 points in the last 6. He's been fired up. So the Devils come into tonight at home looking to rebound after the loss to the Philadelphia Flyers. Okay, and they got the Blue Jackets coming in here with a couple of old friends. And Sam Wu was actually at the game. And Sam Wu saw in person the biggest nightmare of his life. A defensive combo of one Damon Severson and Brendan Smith out there for the Blue Jackets. Sam Wu almost blew a gasket on that one. But it's okay. He made it through, witnessing the return of Butt Puck and Miles Wood. Devils started off this game just the way we wanted them to by getting on the board. 1:26 into the first period. Guess who? The captain gets everything going. And gotta say, by the way, Jesper Bratt, Elvis, oh man, Elvis. Merzlikins always seems to play really well against the Devils. Because then we do our Elvis jokes and stuff like that. It seems to happen pretty often. But he made a big save. Before we even get to the goal, he made a big save on Jesper Bratt right at the side of the net. I mean, it was wide open net, and he came across with that leg and got it. And Jesper Bratt, even though he's been putting the points up, he has been snake bitten in the goal department. And then Werenski, the Devils were, I have it right here, Devils were swarming. Werenski takes his first minor of the season, and the Devils go on the power play. And we all thought it was Timo time, but oh no, it's the captain, Nico Hischier, getting his 10th goal of the year to put the Devils up 1-0, tying DM Dawson Mercer and Jumpin' Jack Flash Jack Hughes for the team lead with 10 goals. And this one we had, Dawson Mercer gets the secondary assist here, who's, the Devils they did a good job on this power play. They were swarming, they were passing the puck, they were moving around the perimeter, they were getting some shots and opportunities and everything like that. They were keeping it in the zone, puck possession. They were doing a lot of good things. And eventually, Mercer gets the puck over there to Jesper Bratt, who's at the top of the triangle there. In the old power play pyramid, and he passes it down along the bottom corner to one Nico Hischier, who then puts it on net. I think this was attempted to be a pass to a driving Timo Meier, and everyone thought originally that it had gone off of Timo, but oh no, it was Provolov was in front, old Provolone from the Flyers. Provolov is in front, goes off his stick as he's trying to defend Timo Meier, obviously, and into the back of the net. Past Elvis, that old hound dog. But I will say Timo Meier is right where he was supposed to be, in front of the net, and also right behind him was one Dawson Mercer. So you get two guys creating havoc in front of Elvis, and those sideburns. Nico Hischier. 10th of the year. 126 into the game, and you're thinking, okay, this is looking good because the Devils are 11-1-1 when scoring first. Now, 11-2-1. And then the great almighty happened. Andre Palat gets himself a goal. It did happen with Sam Wu in the building. Now, it would have been even better if Sam Wu had the Palat jersey, but Sam Wu was in the building and he was floored, much like every Devils fan was out there. A minute and a half later, at 3:03 of the first period, Palat gets his second of the year, and you know what that means? He's heating up. The Devils cause a turnover at the blue line. Grits is able to get it over. Why am I looking at my notebook all off to the side like that? I could just pick it up and look at it right here with all the notes and talk into the microphone like a normal broadcaster would do. But Gritzuk able to get it through to D-man over to Palat, who then kind of just soccers the puck to his stick. So a little kick action right there over to his stick, maybe like a little hacky sack. And then, boom, he kind of just slides it around and into the back of the net. Don't look now, but Andre Palat has got 2 goals in his last 10. And that's actually, it's only 2 on the year, so it's 2 in his last 26. But either way, it happened with Sam Wu in the crowd. So we all thought we were in for a magical, magical evening. But the Blue Jackets do get on the board not too long after that on a power play of their own at 9:54. This was a tip. That's right. The was able to get a stick on a centering pass, beating Dougie to it. Jake the Snake had Jake the Snake is coming across, and the puck goes back the opposite way. Tough one to defend over there. Gets the Blue Jackets on the board. So it's on the board. So it's 2-1, okay, in the first period. First period! All right, and then all of a sudden you're looking at your watch, and it looks like, once again, it's Timo time. We thought he got the first goal. Turns out, puck went off of Provolov instead of Timo, so it's Nico's goal. And now we think we got another one. There's a loose puck, seemingly forever, through the nights of eternity. It was an ice age where you were like, they're going to blow the whistle, right? They're going to blow the whistle soon, right? They're definitely going to blow the whistle. They're going to blow the whistle before the Devils get the puck in the net. You know they're going to. They got Timo scored. Holy what? What just happened here? It looked like Elvis was, in a heartbreak hotel position there for quite some time. On his back. I don't know. I don't even know what that means anymore. If you were in a heartbreak hotel, you would be alone. So, boy, my puns just get worse and worse every day. But there was such a scramble. I thought for sure they were going to blow the whistle. They do not. The referee is right there. The officials can see this one for some reason. Missed a couple other generous calls a little later on, which is no surprise when the Devils are on. But yeah, the whistle does not blow, and Timo Meier eventually, just kind of shovels it into the back of the net. And obviously, Elvis was quite upset because he was, flopping around on the ice over there. And, eventually the Blue Jackets do challenge this for goaltender interference. And Stefan Nason, it was a tough one. It was a little borderline because Steph, he was in the crease, but he was also playing against the Blue Jackets defenseman. It might have been Provolov again. I can't remember. And so there was contact there before the contact was initiated with Merzlikins, and then the puck was around in the blue paint there for quite some time afterwards, before it got swept into the back of the net by Timo Meier. So it was of course, as a Devils fan, I wanted to go our way, but I can see where the goaltender interference could have been said, but at the same, I don't know.
I disagree, Scotty.
I know you do. And Sam was gonna talk about it. I thought it was one of those ones where if it was against the Devils, I'd have been like, that's goaltender interference. It hits them. And now when it's against the Devils here, I'm like, that was coincidental contact. What are you talking about? So it seems like one of those. But whatever. They wave it off. No surprise. On the goaltender interference from Stefan Nason. So, okay, it's only 2-1. And now we move into the second period. And that's when everything went batshit crazy. Because there becomes a big scrum in front of the net. And people are kind of getting a little frisky over there. And Voronkov, who I really don't know too much about, seems like a big kid. I was looking. I didn't see any history of suspensions. So I don't know if he's a cheap shot or, in the heat of the moment, you kind of start swinging. I in fight. In Russia, we swing, something like that. I'm not sure. But in the middle of this scrum, he tries to drop the gloves with Brendan Dillon, who is celebrating his 1,000th game. And Voronkov, he definitely got his gloves off first. That's for sure. And Brendan Dillon's jersey was already over his head by the time that they didn't really ever square up on this. So Dillon was just at a complete disadvantage the entire time. And Voronkov just lands two big haymaker uppercuts and puts, Brendan Dillon down on the ice in kind of a scary position. Now, Again, I don't know. Maybe you guys can correct me. I haven't heard anything about this Voronkov kid, like suspensions, dirty hits, or something like that. I'm going to hope that he just got caught up in kind of the heat of the moment right there and started swinging. But it was a little bit of the old NHL code of conduct there getting violated with, Big Dylan already in a bad spot and not being able to actually like get squared up and drop his gloves and fight, and he eats two big haymakers. Not good. Team don't like it. Crowd is like stunned silence. Not good. And then right after that, literally like about 10 seconds later, Sean Monahan scores a goal at 1:28 of the second period. Talking about just complete shock. And this is the start of this is the second of 4 goals in a row. After the Timo Meier goal at the end of the first period gets waved off, Columbus then scores 4 goals in a row. But that place was just, you can tell, it was just kind of eerily quiet. And you knew the tensions were boiling because, like I said, whether or not the kid got a little overzealous in the moment, still not really what you want to see on the cheap shot wise, because it's also very dangerous the way that Brendan Dillon fell. And that's not the stuff you're hoping to see. If someone's gonna get knocked out, you hope it's like they square up and the dude gets knocked. Not like this. Like Brendan Dillon was in like Scooby-Doo skates, with the jersey over his head already from the scrum. And it's not like Voronkov he's a big kid. He's like 6'6". And we know Samu won't trust him because he's Russian. Samu doesn't trust Russians. But it happened. And it left the place shook up. Not only the team, but the fans as well. But the Devils, I gotta say, they went out there and responded, because let's face it, we don't have a bunch of big bruising type of players that are going to drop the gloves and start pounding people. Okay, that's really not our game plan. But you get some guys that go out there who don't usually do this sort of stuff, and then start sticking up for their teammate. Starting with Connor Brown, Siegenthaler, and Paul Cotter. Connor Brown gets a 2-minute minor. This is at 3:58 of the second period. So you get the Dillon and Voronkov fighting at 1:01. Okay? And then Monahan scores at 1:28, 27 seconds later. Then at 3:58, all hell started breaking loose. And I'm glad it did, because the Devils needed to go out there and make a statement. Yeah, Brendan Dillon's the guy who usually does a lot of the physical stuff, but this was his 1,000th game, and he ate 2 cheap shot uppercuts there. The boys got to go out there and do something. So Connor Brown goes out. Man, he cross-checked and slashed the hell out of Zach Werenski. Or Fantilli. Excuse me, Fantilli. They all start mixing it up. Monahan and Cotter. Brown and Fantilli. Then you get Siegenthaler stepping in there as well. And Fantilli tries to, drop the gloves immediately and go after him. Now, Siegs is thinking, that's not a good idea. Because right now we're down Brendan Dillon. I am now de facto penalty killer ace of this team, even though he's pretty damn good himself anyway. But, that's a lot to be putting on Siegs. And Fantilli is pulling his jersey over his head, and he's kind of swinging wildly. And eventually, Siegenthal, he literally throws his glove at him because he was trying to not drop the gloves and get stuck in the penalty box. He throws his glove on eventually, and then he lands one punch, and Fantilli goes down, and then Siegs threw another one there afterwards, too. So you get the fights going on there. 1 minute and 3 seconds later. Oh, and by the way, this is now Siegs ends up getting kicked out of the game because they gave him a match penalty for not having his jersey tied down, even though you could argue Fantilli was pulling on it the entire time, trying to get it over his head. So, not really a fan of the misconduct. I get it, it's a rule and stuff like that, but if someone is yanking on your jersey the way it was happening, well, maybe it popped. So not a fan of that. Then we get Damon Severson takes a hit straight to the chest from Timo Meyer. Doesn't like that. Tries to get back up and do a little rough stuff. And he gets called for roughing. Devils go back on the power play. But they are unsuccessful at that point. But it's not done for the fights. Because after that, who was it? It was, who came up next? That was Stefan Nason, who stepped to Voronkov, excuse me, and said, let's go. And then they kind of, skate around a little bit. They get a little awkward. Nason falls down immediately. Then I think he fell down again. Then Voronkov fell down. And then that was basically it. Nothing really too much there. Then Paul Cotter and Brendan Smith, their old friend, old chicken fingies. Tendies. Brendan Smith is back. Now he goes with Paul Cotter. They square up the way you should do it. Good on Brendan Smith. Was always an honorable guy like that. And they really more just have a wrestling match against the glass. I don't even know if any punches were thrown in that. And they just kind of wrestle each other down to the ice. Cody Glass gets a minor for roughing. There's another minor for roughing later, which also could have, turned into a fighting major. The penalty box was where it was happening this Monday night at the Rock. But love seeing every single bit of that. Stepping up for Brendan Dillon, who would have been the guy to do that for them as well. And love that Nace went to Voronkov. And I'm glad he answered the bell like he should have. I mean, he's a big boy anyway. But everyone else, Connor Brown, Siegs, even Grits got in there a little bit. Cody Glass. You gotta step up and do it. And they did in that second period. Brendan Dillon does make it back on the ice for the end of the second period. Gets a nice, rousing ovation. But he does not return for the third. So now you got Siegs gone and you got Brendan Dillon gone for this game. And you're down to 4 defensemen for that third period. It was tough on the Devils. And eventually it showed. Because the Devils do get a power play. Now, I should mention this. Just forgot. Charlie Coyle gets a goal. Sean Monahan gets a goal. That's the 4 in a row that the Blue Jackets scored. And some of these, I don't know, Jake the Snake really didn't have himself a great night. Especially the one we're about to talk about. Because it's 4-2, about halfway to go, about 10 minutes or 9 minutes to go in the third period. Devils get a power play. And you're thinking the same thing. You are in that field. They got to have it. They got to get one here. Got to score on this power play. And when they got to have it, who's been coming through? Timo Meier. And he does one more time with a PPG power play goal at 11:51 to make it 4-3. And you're thinking this game isn't over yet. Nico and Jesper Bratt get the assist. Timo is 10th, so now he's tied with Dawson Mercer, Jack Hughes, and Nico Hischier as well for the team lead in goals. And this one was a beautiful feed across Jesper Bratt with the Sunday sauce. Would you pick out your favorite pasta? You used to love the gavadil, little penne, regular spaghetti, angel hair, whatever you want. Jesper Bratt put a Sunday sauce of Sunday sauce across the dinner table, a.k.a. the ice, past one defenseman, over the sticks. I said that correctly? Plural. Over the sticks of 2 Blue Jackets players. All the way to the other side of the ice, right on the tape to Timo Meier, who just shovels it with authority inside the post, past Elvis, for his 10th of the year. That was at 11:51. Unfortunately, about a minute and a half later, Jake Allen and Luke Hughes had a miscommunication behind the net. Luke seems to be leaning towards the front. Jake Allen makes a pass to, up the ice, and Jake Allen makes a pass back instead of leading him. And that ends up getting intercepted by Charlie Coyle, who then gives it to our old friend Miles Wood, who puts it off the post and into the back of the net. So as soon as we had that good feeling of like, okay, Dumb and Dumber style, so you're telling me there's a chance. Minute 50 later. And the Devils, they gave it their all. They pulled Jake the Snake with about 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go. I think Simone Nemec had like a 4-minute shift there at the end of the game. But they're just unable to pull this out with a 5-3 loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They got housed, by the way, in the faceoff circle, which is something we've been seeing at an alarming rate for this team. 33-20. Power plays, they were 2 for 5. Blue Jackets were 1 for 3. Lots of penalty minutes. We know that 23 hits to the Blue Jackets, 21, 11 block shots. Like to see that go up a little bit more. And the shots on goal 7, 11, 6 for a total of 24 for the Blue Jackets. Again, making their opportunities count. 5 goals on 24 shots. And the Devils 10, 14, 9 for a total of 33. And just real quick, want to look, at that. Oops, I am on the Blue Jackets side. Let me get over to the Devils side over here. And I would just like to see, holy hell, Simone Nemec, 30 minutes and 6 seconds. Luke Hughes, 26 minutes and 29 seconds of ice time. Dougie Hamilton with 20 minutes and 39 seconds, and Cholowski with 17 minutes. Siegs, only 6 minutes played. Brendan Dillon, 10 minutes played. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack on this one. So let's get the old Sam Wu in here. Sam, I got to say, maybe we need to move you back by the bar, because since we moved over to the old pizza area, we haven't been doing too good over here. So we might have to move you back to the bar. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
The bar is closed right now.
Okay.
See this
there was a lot of...
This is the last time we're doing it from here.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of stuff that happened in this game as well. On one of the goals by the Blue Jackets, Simone Nemet's stick got ripped away from him once again, directly in front of an official who seemed to be looking right in that direction, yet does not call it, much like the high sticking against Luke Hughes from the previous game. I know you have plenty to talk about there. I want to hear all your takes on, all of the second period. Do we need to add more beef? Because I know that's going to be a question that's going to come up as well. But just overall, give us your review of the game.
I don't even know where to start, but I will tell you that I went into this game with my goal light helmet on. I was sitting in section 15, I think, row 4. I was right up against the glass, so I had a very good vantage point to actually eyewitness some of these plays. And I also found myself, with all these calls that these referees are making, I was actually finding myself in lawyer mode going into the NHL rulebook and found a few things that they didn't get right. So let's start with the Nemec one. We're going to bounce all over the place. That Nemec one, I forgot which Columbus Blue Jacket did this, which led to that goal. Literally took his glove and yanked the stick out of Nemec's hands and threw the stick. Now he's without a stick, and now these high danger chances are in the Devils' defensive zone. Eventually, Columbus scores. So I see Nemec skate over to the ref, number 3, first name Chris, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. And I'm reading lips, and I'm reading Nemec saying, he took my stick, he took my stick. And I read the ref's lips, no, he didn't throw it. Well, if he didn't throw it, how would you know that he didn't throw it if he didn't take the stick? You see what I mean? Like, the officiating was so bad. I don't know what he directly looked at it, just like the Luke Hughes against the Flyers when he got chopped in the face. The ref is looking directly towards him. What are they looking at? And are these officials being graded? Because that's pathetic. Everybody's looking at it. And I'm not trying to be a homer fan. I know what I saw. And I was expecting something. But a no call and then denying that anything happened. Just reading the ref's lips and Simone Nemec, I don't know what to say about that. Now, the other rule Nick Villano pointed out is league office so that the jersey and tie down can be examined. A player who is involved in an altercation when the opponent has been identified as the instigator shall not be assessed a game misconduct penalty if his jersey should be removed by an opponent or an official in the discharge of his duties, regardless as to whether or not he was properly tied down. Again, it seemed like the referees forgot about that rule. I'm going to piggyback what Nick Villano said on X, and as he writes, on the Pucks and Pitchforks Twitter account, referees are handing this game to Columbus. It's absolutely disgusting. They literally handed it to it. It's like you're watching it happen, unfold right in your face. And I'm not saying that's the sole reason why the Devils lost. Look, you're running 2 pairings on defense. They were gassed by the third period. Absolutely gassed. And Luke. Normally I would be critical of Luke. I'm giving him a pass only because they were so gassed in that third period. And I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about this game because there were a lot of fights. I'm very happy the way the Devils responded. Timo Meier was very chippy during the second period. Behind the plays, he was antagonizing the Columbus Blue Jackets, baiting them into a fight. So, he was doing just the little things to annoy him, and that's what you need. You need some of that grit. The beef is there, Scotty. Do we need more of it? I don't think you can ever get enough beef. I'll be honest with you. I don't think you can get enough beef. But, believe it or not, Mr. Elvis over there in net, what a cheap shot artist he is. He was swinging his goalie stick around like a baseball bat at times. It almost felt like, at the Devils players. And I get it. It's an intense game. But I hope the league looks at all this. They definitely looked at that goal that they called back. I'm just going to ask the league because, they ruled it a goal. They ruled it not a goal. The Timo Meyer goal that should have been a goal. I didn't see anything conclusive there. So I would like an explanation of why it was a conclusive. That's what I want to know. Because all I saw in that, scrum was Mr. Elvis there grabbing Nason's stick. That's what I saw, the overhead shot. I don't know if that's what you saw, Scotty. I don't know. It could have gone either way. I agree, but I don't know. If the call wasn't on the ice, was there that much evidence to overturn it?
I didn't think so, but I don't know what did they originally call? Did they call? Oh, no, they called and then they challenged for goaltender interference, and then they said,
"Yep."
They thought there was, I don't know, man. It just seemed very, very, just all too convenient. It's just like, come on, oh, come on, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was a very poorly officiated game. Let's put it that way. It was like as bad as it gets. It's plain and simple. It's just as bad as it gets. And I'm not trying to be, this complaining fan that wants his team to win. I'm telling you what I saw. Like, this is not hockey. This is not, the Brendan Dillon thing. Man, back in the day, 30, 40 years ago, when fighting was a thing, there was always that unwritten code. Man, did those shots to the head while he was so vulnerable? I think the optics don't look great there, Scotty.
Yeah.
And I've talked to enforcers in the past, someone like Ken Belanger, who used to play in the NHL, and there's that unwritten code there. Like, you still, players are getting, the problem is players are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and physically so strong, but your head, your brain has not evolved in the last 30,000 years. It's vulnerable. And when you get cracked in the head like that, the vulnerability, I don't know. It's just something doesn't seem right about it. I'm all for not taking the emotion out of the game. I'm all for that. But at the same time, I don't know. Those were just like knockout shots to the head that just didn't look right. And stuff like that is probably at some point, and I hate to say it, will get fighting banned from hockey. Hockey is the
it shouldn't. I mean, Dillon was unable to square him up. He didn't even get his gloves all the way off. Like his jersey's already over his head. Like, the dude shouldn't have thrown the two shots. Now, like I said, I don't know this kid. I don't know if he's like a cheap shot, dirty player or something like that, or if he was just, caught up in the heat of the moment there and threw two and then was like, because he did answer the bell with, Nason later. Didn't seem to, give any issue with that. So I don't know. But yeah, looking at it, you're like, I hope someone goes over there and messes that dude up.
This is why
I hope someone.
This is why you want a Tom Wilson on your team. You want to talk about beef. This is why you want a Tom Wilson or Brad Marchand. You know what they would have done? They probably would have cross-checked him from behind, then go. That's what they would have done. Nason, I love the guy, but pound for pound, I give him
Well,
credit.
that's not his that's not his role either.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those things where if you're gonna bring players in, again, you're gonna pay a premium for those power forwards that can fight. And Timo Meyer can't do it all. But at the same time, love the way the Devils responded as a team. Okay.
Yeah.
They just, I'm not going to take that away from them. I just thinking when Siegenthaler was out of the game, I think you're left with two pairings, and Luke's been struggling on defense. Not good.
Look at Dag. Cam Jan's on the phone to Fitz right now. Bring me back. Put me in, coach.
That would be funny.
Oh, I used to love watching Cam back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But it should be interesting what George Parros, New Jersey native, what he'll do, with all this. I never agree half of the decisions. Yeah, I never agree with half of the decisions that guy makes.
Yeah.
But overall, that second period
I did
hour.
like the response. Yeah, that period was the first two periods were long as hell.
Yeah,
because there was so much going on. We had you get the 3 goals, almost 4, and then you get the review on that one in the first, and then all the fights in the second. It was a pretty wild game.
Yeah.
I wish the Devils came out on top of it. I don't know if anyone heard anything on any of the post-game press conferences or anything like that. Wimpy, Olivier wasn't there. Matthew Olivier is a beast. Yes, I wish he was a Devil. But I don't know if anyone has heard anything about Brendan Dillon or anything like that. Any updates from the post game from Sheldon Keefe? Because, like we were saying, he did not. He returned for the second in that period, but then that was it.
Yep.
Did not come out. Was not on the bench for the third period. So yeah, tough one here for the Devils. At home, their record is, we got 2 losses now. I know we all thought we were going undefeated at home, but in reality,
we might have to do a big stage with -5 degrees outside if we have to get
with -5 degrees to make it all good.
Yeah.
No, but the Devils have a lot of games going on here. They got to figure something out about defense. Obviously you get Siegs back, but now you're down. You might be down Dillon for the next game or two. We'll see what happens. Are you fine going with Cholowski and White? You going to call Edwards up instead? So they got to get back to it because they got Wednesday and then they got Friday, Saturday again. This schedule waits for nobody.
Yeah. The Dallas Stars
and
it's not a hard team.
Exactly. You got Dallas and Vegas up next. And then it's Boston after that. So you're going to have tough games these next few. There's no rest here for the wicked.
Yep.
Or no rest for the weary, whatever the hell it is.
I don't know. But
they got to keep it going, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lost tonight, but still ready to come back Wednesday and get squared up this time. And look for us to get a big W.
Yeah, you got to regroup, and for Wednesday, it should be. I would expect some call-ups tomorrow.
Yeah,
I would expect some call-ups. I hope Brendan Dillon's going to be okay. And let's see what the Devils can bring. Again, they're just staying afloat with all these injuries that they've had. Right now you're on a 2-game losing streak in regulation at home. See what they can pull off on Wednesday against the Dallas Stars.
Yeah. Yep, they got another game coming up, and we're going to be covering it here. with Game Day Live and Devils After Dark. Wednesday. They're going to be down there at the Rock, inviting those our buddies from Texas up for a little barbecue action. A little brisket, little ribs. Get some of that Texas BBQ. But I'm sorry, Dallas Stars, you're going to have to take the L this time, as I am predicting the Devils get back on the win streak this Wednesday at the Rock. Make sure you check out everything here at the Let's Go Devils podcast. Like we said, Game Day Live beforehand and Devils After Dark afterwards. And, of course, the hottest morning hockey podcast out there, The Morning Woo with Sam by God Woo.
Yep. I don't know when the morning woo is going to be. There will be a morning woo, but I got to beat the storm to get to work tomorrow. So maybe a little bit of a different time in the morning, but there will be a morning woo tomorrow. Thank you to everybody tuning in. Till next time, let's go Devils.